Hi, I'm Christine Comaford, and today we are talking about evolution and evolving as an executive and evolving as a CEO or whatever role you're in, and consciously making a choice to evolve. So, step number 2 in executive evolution is to stand for yourself. Step number 1, you can watch the other video, is about revealing yourself. What does it mean to stand for yourself? Those of us in America, actually, North America and Europe, actually, and large parts of Asia, well, let's just say most of the world, we are taught to look outside, right? We gauge our worth, we gauge how we're perceived in the world, etc., how we feel about ourselves from outside. And here's the problem. We look for answers outside. It's not going to work. You have all the answers inside of yourself. How cool is this? But most of us can't figure out what the answers are because we don't know who we are. Now, there are a couple of ways to stand for yourself. First, you have to kind of get all that goop out of the way. And if you can get 5 minutes of silence every day, after 30 days, I promise you, you'll have a much better idea of who you are. How do you get 5 minutes of silence? For starters, if you live with people, you have to, go off in a separate room, put a sticky note in the door. Please don't knock. I'm finding myself. I'll come out when I'm done, right? Now, there are several techniques. Let me just tell you a couple to get still. So one is to simply see yourself sitting exactly as you are, in whatever outfit you're in, wherever you are, and just picture white light just pouring down over your head, over your body, and just keep that visualization going until you don't see a pinky, you don't see anything. You just see yourself in your mind's eye covered with white light. Stay with me here. It might sound woo-woo. This totally works. Okay, so that's one way just to get still. You can do it when you're stressed out during the day, etc. So this is one technique. All right, white light covering your whole body. All right, front and back, everything. Number 2. You know how on the bottom of CNN, etc., there's like little news nugget and then a white space. News nugget, white space. In Japan, there is a term called ma, and this is a loose definition of it. It means pause. So ma is the space between the thoughts. Ma is the pause between breaths. Ma is the space between the notes. So if you start to get curious about ma, it's so interesting to look for the pauses in life. So when you look at that little CNN ticker tape and you're watching it on TV, start to look at like the little spaces between all the news, because news is transitory. There's always something happening, right? And it doesn't fundamentally change who you are. Now, this is a good technique to use when you are trying to get still and your thoughts are going nuts, just like that CNN ticker tape, right? That newsreel. As you see your thoughts floating by, start to look at the space between your thoughts. Then the next thought comes, don't hang on to it, don't reject it, right? You don't want attraction or aversion. The next thought comes by, look at the white space. And as you start to focus on the white space, something really cool happens. The space between the thoughts gets bigger. I swear to God, this is a cool technique. All right, so that's technique number 2. Just 5 minutes a day, use that, use the white light one, and then a third one, just because everybody reacts differently to this stuff. Put your hand out in front of you and say me. Me. If you do it a few times, you're going to find that you're generally going to go into a center of your chest. This is where your heart center is. So another great way to get 5 minutes of silence, and this is how I learned back when I was 17 years old, is a rosebud. Picture a rosebud, whatever color you want, that doesn't matter. And this rosebud is really tight, and it's gradually opening, opening, opening. And for 5 minutes, you're going to watch those rose petals just opening. That's all you're doing. Okay? So this rose has a lot of petals. It's just going to keep opening. And watching that visualization, just like watching the thoughts, just like watching the white light, it gives your mind something to do.